Amanda and Keith here with Leadership Training Academy, and today we're going to talk about how to really let people know what your leadership program is going to do for them or for their child. So, how to show essentially the product of what you're promising that you're going to be teaching in your classes.
Yeah, and one of the ways that we do that, and we're actually going through it right now, this entire weekend, is through our belt graduations. Some people call them belt testings. For a long time, for us, it's been belt graduations, and it's a great time to display all the leadership skills that we've been training in class and working on, and it's a good time for us to show the parents, the all the hard work that we've been putting into that program.
Yeah, I think that when you think of a belt test, or like you said, graduation, a celebration of what they've learned during the cycle, um, we do focus a lot on the physical, and then we want to show all the physical skills that the students have learned. But you're really missing out on letting the parents know what you're really about with character development, about goal setting, perseverance, how to stick with something. Those are all the kinds of things that you can actually really let people know at a graduation. Yeah, we're learning cool martial arts. Everybody's looking awesome out there doing their stuff, which is important. But how's the confidence level? How's the focus? And who can you highlight? How can you highlight different leaders and let people know here is, 2 years from now, here's 3 years from now, here's 10 years from now, what you can expect your child to be able to do mentally and as a person with character, not just how high they're going to be able to kick or how many boards they're going to be able to break. And graduation can do that for you.
Yeah, and to kind of touch on that same topic, the student that, or if somebody's looking just to be a great martial artist, without the character development, that's not the student that we're looking for.
Correct.
And that's not the family that we're looking for. We're looking for students and families that see the extra benefit and value of all the qualities that martial arts can teach you besides the physical. All those leadership qualities that we've talked about are confidence and respect, discipline, integrity, perseverance, and the list goes on. But the families and the students, the kids, the adults that see how much more important that is than the physical, that's who we align with, and that's who we want to be a part of our academy.
And they want to know, like when you enroll somebody and you tell them, yes, I'm going to be able to help your child in this, or this area, or an adult comes in and they, you say, yes, we're going to be able to help you in this, or this area. The graduation is a perfect time to prove it. You can talk in a meeting, you can talk to them after 2 months of training and, see how things are going. But when they see it, and they see it multiplied, like it's not just this one guy who's doing a great job, it's lots of people who are out there doing a great job. You've got your volunteers, your staff, your leaders, everybody is out there performing their leadership skills by holding targets, by encouraging each other, by showing confidence. And you want to highlight those. I mentioned that before, but highlight that specifically and on purpose, again, intentionally, so that the parent with their 8-year-old watching can identify with somebody out there and say, man, I hope my kid grows up to be like that, or that's the person I want my child, or that's the way I want my child to behave, not timid or scared, but out there with confidence, So again, not just hoping they get the picture, but on purpose telling them, here's what you're going to expect if you stick with this program, if you earn a black belt.
Yeah, I think one thing that we've learned over the years is that you just can't hope that the parents see it,
Right.
Or hope that they understand what you're doing is much more than just punching and kicking. You have to show them. You have to have something that's clearly understood. It's simple. It's easy to explain exactly how you're teaching these extra benefits to their children. to the
Right.
students.
So I think one example, and when we do graduations here, it's a 3 to 5 day process depending on how much of the school is graduating. We have different programs and different age groups and all, but one of the things that happens, and we do it over and over and over again, is we look for opportunities of who is excelling in their character, who is excelling in their confidence, and how can we highlight that to the parents too. Obviously when somebody earns their black belt, we talk about the full picture, the full journey, and not just the physical part. But an example that comes to mind is one of our young ladies, students. Now currently she's 15 years old, and last night at one of our graduations she tested for her staff. We require, when we hire somebody, they have to get out and perform and actually test for the rank of staff before they can actually wear the staff uniform.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal. They get out and they get to show the student body, what they're made of, and why they're being hired, and it helps people aspire to that. So, but she, do you remember the story about her interview? About
I think she did that with you. I don't quite remember.
Yeah, so she's 15 now, and when she was 12 years old, she called in and said, I really need to meet with you. And I was like, oh, okay, and of course I've known her since she was 8, so I've known her for 4 or 5 years, and she says she needs to meet with me, and we've already had this great rapport, so we set a time, and she's going to come in Wednesday at 3. So she shows up, she's dressed nice, I could tell she was nervous, and she comes into the office and sits down, and I said, well, what can I help you with, and she goes, well, I wanted to talk to you about working here, having a job. So this was a job interview, she had set up herself. I mean, she already had this, great confidence. I know she was nervous about it, but I was like, wow, okay, that's awesome, and I told her, I said, well, you're 12 and I'm glad you want to work here, but the state requires you to be 14 years old, so we got a few years. But
Yeah.
but I was able to sit down and say, and here's how you prepare for that, and here's what I'm looking for in a staff member.
Yeah.
And we do yearly goal setting meetings. So when she's 13 comes around, we do the goal setting. How are you still feeling about being on staff? I see you're on track with this, and our leadership program for the actual instructor program starts at age 12.
Right.
So getting her involved in that and already learning and that sort of thing. So it was really kind of a fun story. But last night, she's 15, and she is actually testing to be a staff member. So a goal that she set for herself when she was 12, 3 years later, she's she never varied from that path. And of course, I'm gonna not just say here she's now a staff member because she did all this, but I'm gonna tell the audience, the parents and the other students, this is the type of confidence, this is the type of goal setting, this is the type of perseverance and responsibility that you can expect your child to learn and become when sticking through this program. So I think making sure your graduation is a time to let people know what you're really about is important.
Yeah, and just going back to that conversation when she was 12, I mean, if the answer was, well, you're doing great, I just need you to keep showing up for another 3 years,
Right.
and maybe you'll be an instructor. If that's, but I know a lot of academies and places where that's kind of the drill. Like whoever sticks around long enough, there's not a direct path.
Right.
And that's what we've really worked hard on, starting from age 12, actually even younger, becoming an instructor, having that clear path that's laid out for them, follow these steps, and you'll get there.
Right.
And so it was nice that, that we were able to provide that, and she followed it to a T, and here we are with her as just a great martial artist and great instructor.
A qualified staff member.
Very quality. Yeah.
Like you said, laid out, our instructor training program specifically does start at age 12, and there's like, okay, at this point, this is what you need to do. So she knows exactly what she's supposed to do, and
Right.
I know when she's 14, she's going to have all this training under her belt, and when you're 13, you do this. Or if you come in as adult, here's step 1, this is what you're going to do your first year, this is what you're going to do your second year. Of course, for adults, we can accelerate that a lot, but for your teenagers, kind of stick to that plan. But she is one level away from becoming a certified instructor.
Mhm.
She needs to be 16 years old for that, and I know she's on the path for that. And what was really kind of cool last night specifically was not only did she test and get out and perform and everything with confidence, but she led the warm up for the graduation, and there were 50 students out there.
Yep.
Hundreds of parents. I mean, it was packed house, big night, and she just gets out there with a big command voice that we work on, and everybody could hear her. The students are responsive, they're getting warmed up. I can't think of a better way to let families know, parents know, that 7-8-year-old, what you can expect in the future.
Yeah.
From this program.
Yeah, and us, and we use that story because we told the whole graduation that she started when she was your age, 7, 8, 9 years old, and she set this goal to become an instructor, and here she is. And that's what we want to do to if you're a school owner or a head instructor, we want to help people lay out that path.
Yes.
For their juniors, for their teenagers, for their adults. It's not a difficult process. You just have to implement it.
And that's what we've done. We've laid out the whole groundwork for you. If you're like, how I've got so much going on. I've got accounting, I've got marketing, I've got to clean the school, I got to teach the classes, I got somebody walks in and want information. It's like, okay, how do I create an instructor? Well, that part's been done for you. You just start, and then before you know it, you do have more instructors than you know what to do with. You can literally flood your school with instructors.
Well, and talking about flooding your school with instructors, we had our graduation. We had 50 students graduating last night. There was probably 200 people in the room with parents and siblings, and so it was a big night. And man, we had at least a dozen helpers. Some paid, some volunteers,
right,
and some of them juniors that are working on learning to assist little kids, and so you got to see all the levels of our leadership program. In fact, this evening we have a 12-year-old that will be warming up the entire graduation tonight, and we've been practicing that in our class, and man, that's gonna be so inspiring for the parents with 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds. They want their kid to be as confident as Johnny out in front of 100 parents, adults, 50 students, with a voice loud enough to carry that, with the confidence to tell everybody what to do in a nice manner. But no, and so that's one way that at our graduation we can demonstrate what this program is doing, what it's teaching, and the parents can see it clear as day.
Yeah, and I'd just like to kind of wrap up with, that's one story. Even in last night's graduation, there are multiple stories. And tonight we have 2 more graduations. There'll be multiple stories in those. And tomorrow morning we have 2 more graduations. There'll be multiple stories in those. So we just, only have time to tell one. And I love the fact that, she came in as a 12-year-old for an interview. So that's one reason I picked it. But yeah, it just perpetuates, this is what Olson's Martial Arts Academy is all about to the community. And people tell their friends about it, and what they tell them is not, well, your kid's going to really learn how to kick high and break boards there, which they do, but they say, man, my child learned to focus better in school, they got more confidence. And it's through the leadership training program that the parents understand what's going on.
Yeah, that's the most important thing to us.
Right.
That's, our bodies are going to give out one day. You guys, if you've been doing martial arts for a long time, but the character will not. The respect, the discipline, the integrity that you can always have. That's what we want to stay with people. And the earlier that you start that intentionally, the better.
Absolutely.
And I tell our whenever new families come in, that we start teaching our 4-year-olds the same things that our adults are learning. The message might be tailored a little bit different to fit the age group, but yeah, it's the same lessons.
Right.
It's the same exact lessons they learn all the way through. We still practice, we still practice on a daily and weekly basis. But yeah, it's the earlier you can start them, the better. And I've always preached that. I love it when we get a student that's 4 or 5, because we can start ingraining them, not just physically the motions, but the meanings and definitions of courtesy and respect and integrity. And by the time they're 8 or 9 years old, they're regurgitating this stuff word for word, and just great little leaders at 8 and 9 years old.
That reminds me of, I don't even know if I told you this story, but this summer, actually, I went out to an elementary school, and you were with me. We did a program out there, and the principal pulled me aside, and he goes, "Thank you guys so much for coming." He goes, "Whenever we get a student that's, a little bit squirrely or something, we recommend the parents take them to Olson's." And we're always excited when we have an Olson's martial arts student in our class, because we know they're going to be focused and disciplined. I just couldn't think that was a better compliment, and we do, as martial artists, we love the physical part, and sometimes we forget that we need to, just as important, highlight the leadership part.
Most definitely. Yeah, when I was younger, I wanted to, I was very focused on the physical,
right?
Personally, and with the students. And when I made that shift in my personal thinking and teaching and philosophy on teaching, towards the focus of the character development and looking to make kids more confident and believe in themselves, more respectful to the people around them, to have a good self integrity and telling the truth. When my focus became around that, I feel like I really grew as an instructor, and had more of a clear path of what I wanted to be as a teacher.
And parents want their child in front of somebody who does care about their character development, so you teaching that, there'll be the things that, is that something Master Keith would want you to be doing right now, or they respect you for that.
Well, and that's what we've poured our heart and soul into this program, in making it easy. The delivery, the message, the activities, making it super simple for school owners, head instructors, assistant instructors to be able to do, these programs.
Absolutely, it really is that simple, and I've made all the mistakes, that you could make. maybe not all of them, but the things that I know that work, that's what this program has in it, is the things that work to produce the instructors that you want, to have a leadership program that your community desires and wants to hear more about, and a program that parents are confident in.
Yeah. Well, this has been great.
Yeah.
We appreciate everybody tuning in, watching. If you want some more information on the Leadership Training Academy, you can look down in the description below and reach out to us through email or comment here. If there's a topic that you'd like us to talk about, but please reach out if you have any questions whatsoever, and we'd be happy to get back with you and see if we can help you in any way.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks for joining in.
Thank you.